Hello and welcome to our international expansion proposal. For our proposal, we chose Louisa Coffee, which would be expanded into China. This presentation is a collaboration between students from Eastern Washington University and National Taiwan University. Section 1, Client Organization and Product. Louisa Coffee's ambition is to make the finest specialty coffee. Founded in Taiwan's capital, the coffee chain was founded in 2006 and has since become a local favorite in Taiwan. What started out as a small coffee to go shop has since evolved into one of the nation's most major coffee chains. In 2019, the chain had surpassed Starbucks as the coffee vendor with the most locations in Taiwan, with almost 500 locations. That same year, Louisa Coffee had opened its first overseas location in Bangkok. We have considered the type of business Louisa Coffee is and analyzed which country would be the best to expand the business into. After carefully considering and evaluating the demographic, cultural, and economic situations of 10 different countries, and decided that the target country would be China. After picking our target country, we then selected implementation strategies for how Louisa Coffee could enter the Chinese market and how it would look with its structure. We decided that a multi-domestical strategy would work well with the greenfield entry mode to give a better understanding of the cultural preferences of China's coffee market. We also suggested Louisa Coffee implement geographic area structure to react to any changes in the market that may happen. Finally, we discussed strategic ways of human resource management for Louisa Coffee when entering a new market. Some background about Louisa Coffee is it was founded in 2006 in the capital of Taiwan, stemming from the founder's passion for coffee. Louisa Coffee has established itself as an expert in quality coffee. In 2007, Louisa opened its first Louisa store. In 2019, it opened its first overseas store in Thailand. Louisa Coffee has been actively deploying overseas markets in recent years. It currently has 4 stores in Thailand and has signed contracts with local companies in Indonesia. In addition, registration has been completed in Singapore, Malaysia, and Japan, and partners in the United States are also negotiating. Some of the products that Louisa Coffee offers is is coffee, tea, light meals, cakes, coffee beans, and other related products to cafe stores. In addition to these products, Louisa Coffee also provides a comfortable environment with coffee aroma and adorable atmosphere for customers to dine, work, have a meeting, chat, or read in the cafe. Here are some of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to Louisa Coffee. Its key competitors and their positioning. Louisa Coffee's main competitor is Starbucks, an American coffee chain. Similar to Louisa Coffee, which was founded as a small coffee to go shop in Taiwan, Starbucks was founded as a small cafe in the United States. Both have expanded largely into major coffee chains, and in 2019, Louisa Coffee surpassed Starbucks as the chain with the most locations in Taiwan. Some of its differences are price. Taiwanese people often find that Louisa offers quality coffee at a cheaper price. while they also associate Starbucks as being rich because of its high prices. Most coffees at Louisa cost around 75 new Taiwan dollars, while Starbucks can cost up to 100 for the same kind of coffee and amount. Another key difference between these two is the service. Starbucks, being a cafe, often has less employees compared to the on the go service that Louisa is. You will often find less employees working and will often have larger wait times than Louisa. Often Starbucks cashiers are tasked with taking orders and helping make them due to the fewer employees. Starbucks service beyond drinks includes a wide variety of cookies, cakes, salads, and breakfast items, while Louisa Coffee has more of a light meal variety of sandwiches and bread. Many people believe that Louisa is on track to surpass Starbucks in Taiwan, but both are favored by different people depending on their preferences.
Let's move on to section 2, new markets analytics and selection. The criteria for evaluate the attractiveness of foreign markets is the CAG distance framework. This compares between Taiwan and the foreign markets, and we use the global database uh, to support our point of view. And the part 2, we use the Porter 5 Force model to analyze the three countries we should list from the part 1. This is the CAG distance framework, and I think I will put more emphasis on those three countries we choose from this part, so you can quickly browse at it. Okay, one of the countries we think is potential target country is China. Since China has 1.4 billion population base, it is a new market with great potentials no matter in which industries. Furthermore, the language, cultures, and people compositions in China are similar to Taiwan. Therefore, it brings a relatively low cost compared with entering countries that are much different from Taiwan. Also, although the international opening scores is relatively low, Taiwan and China has long and long and strong ties in economics. So we think it is also another advantage for Taiwan to entering Chinese markets. Lastly, from the aspect of drinking cultures, although tea is still the main consumption among Chinese people, the proportions of drinking coffee is rising in the young groups. So due to those reasons, we choose China for part 2's analysis. And the second countries we choose is Singapore. Since Singapore's people compositions and language they use are similar to Taiwan, which can lower the communications costs and when entering Singapore's markets. Furthermore, Singapore has a higher regulatory qualities and lower country risks. It means that Singapore has an integrity and stable government and ordinary a society. Also, Singapore has a lower tax rate and higher economic freedom scores and international opening scores, which creates a ideal environment for business activities. Moreover, Singapore has a well-developed infrastructures. It also an important determinant for a company who want to enter a new market. Lastly, although Singapore's population base is not that large, they have higher incomes and long-standing coffee culture. So based on those aforementioned, we choose Singapore for further analysis. And and the third country we choose is Indonesia. Since Indonesia has a population base of 257 millions, and Indonesia's middle class people is now growing very fast. It also it is such a potential market that they will create considerable profits. Also, Indonesia has an ideal climate for cultivating coffee beans. So, furthermore, Indonesia labor average cost is quite low, which can significantly reduce the cost of hiring employee. Lastly, drinking coffee is now an emerging trend in Indonesia, and many coffee shops spring up in Indonesia. So based on those reasons, we choose Indonesia for further analysis. And let's come to the part two analysis. We use Porter's 5 force model to analyze the coffee cultures and those three countries we choose from part one. And we can quickly brief on it. It is the analysis of coffee industries. It is the industry's evaluations of shortlist potential countries. I think I will put more emphasis on the final choice we choose, since the time is not enough. Okay, our final choice is China. First of all, from the CAG analysis, China is suitable for Louisa coffee to enter due to the small distance between two countries and from all those of aspects. So we can assume that there will be less barrier when entering this new market. Secondly, from rivalry and amongst existing competitors of Porter's 5 force analysis, we know that the training rate of coffees is relatively low which gives Louisa coffees a chance to take a positions in the markets of chains coffee, especially when Louisa coffees aim at the different targets customers from the Starbucks, because the Louisa coffee is the price of coffee is quite low. And finally, with the analysis of market size and the customer trait, we can see that China has a long way to go in terms of becoming a coffee dreaming nation. Coffee compositions in coffee consumption in China is far too small to be considered. And the second, at present, instant coffee is the main coffee sales products in China. However, with the rising awareness of the coffee's quality among young groups, the proportions of freshly grind coffees will further increase in the future. Lastly, China's consumers consider having coffee in a coffee shop as a social event, similar to Starbucks brand positions. Louisa, which has a comfortable environment to provide the environment for customer to drink coffee and do their homework or do their tasks in the shop. So based on those part 1 and part 2 analysis, we choose China to enter to as our target country selections. And this is part 2.
Next is Section 3, Entry Mode and Strategy. We considered our recommended entry mode through exporting, licensing and franchising, partnering and strategic alliance, acquisition, and greenfield. After careful evaluation of each entry mode, we decided Louisa Coffee would best enter the new market through greenfield. Considering the options, greenfield would allow the most control over each location we would have. Other options did not allow this much control over the business and products, or they were too expensive. We considered our operational strategy through global strategy, transnational strategy, regional strategy, international strategy, multi-domestic strategy. After careful evaluation of each operational strategy, we decided Louisa Coffee should implement the multi-domestic strategy. We narrowed our options by considering how each operational strategy would fit Louisa Coffee. Considering the options, multi-domestic strategy would allow us to serve customers correctly based on their cultural preferences. This works well with the greenfield entry mode because it allows total control of understanding the local preferences of customers.
Section 4, Structure and Human Resources Management. For the structure selection part, we compare the following 4 structures and evaluate them. For the first one is geographic area structure. Its advantages are ability to reduce cost and respond quickly to the local market. And disadvantages are difficult to align product emphasis in a geographically oriented manner and potential duplication of jobs, resources, and function. And the second one is global product structures. It is suitable for companies that have different and diverse product line, and its advantages are it can concentrate on a specific market segment and coordinate and measure the performance of each division directly. And its disadvantages are operational inefficiencies and overemphasis on divisional rather than organizational goals, and less effective lines of communication between divisions. And the third structure is global functional structures. Its advantages are greater emphasis on functional expertise and high level of centralized control. And disadvantages are it might not respond to the changing market quickly, and it has less innovation and difficulty in cross-functional coordination. And the last structure is global matrix structure. It can improve decision making since there are 2 chains of command, and it increases efficiency due to the sharing resources across different departments. And its disadvantages are large overhead costs on account of having multiple managers, and confusion regarding roles, responsibilities, and priorities. After doing the analysis, our final selection is geographic area structure, and below are the reasons. The first one is it has standardized products line. As a food service company, Louisa Coffee doesn't have many sophisticated production process and R&D projects, and it don't need high-level functional experts. And last one is Due to the geographic area structure, we can focus more on the local market demand and monitor environmental changes and respond quickly and efficiently. And thus, we can give the local manager high autonomy. On the other hand, when doing structure selection, we should also pay attention to the compatibility between business structure selection and strategic selection. So according to the graph, we can see that if we choose multi-domestic strategy, then we should also choose geographic area structure. Okay, let's move on to developing HR and strategic plan. For the staffing parts, we plan to adapt the same staffing strategies and directly hire local SAS employees because we choose Greenfield as our entry mode, and the language and culture in China are familiar to Taiwan. And for the compensation, we provide labor and health insurance and professional education and training and clear promotion system. For the welfare, every employee can enjoy all kinds of drinks during work hours and employee discounts and annual domestic or foreign travel and so on. And lastly, we also provide annual health check for every employee. And for the training part, every employee should work through 3-month training program, which involve skill training like ordering process, basic understanding of coffee, and making coffee and meals. And the second part is self-skilled training, which include social grace training, communication skills training, personal traits training, and they should also understand the Louisa's brand concept. Okay, this is the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.